An East London-based non-profit organisation called Gatekeepers South Africa is calling on President Cyril Ramaphosa to raise the country's legal drinking age by 5 years. It's proposing that the minimum age for purchasing and consumption of alcohol be increased from 18 to 23. The organisation has now formally submitted that proposal to the president, but they join a growing debate about the regulation of alcohol and the health of young people in South Africa. Gatekeepers South Africa is also calling for the banning of alcohol advertising in all public spaces. Founding Director Lizelle Maurice is with us for more. Lizelle, good morning. Thank you very much for your time. Welcome to the program. We appreciate it. So, as I've said in the intro there, the proposal is that we raise the country's legal drinking age, not just to 21, but as high as 23. This is well above what seems to be the global norm of around 18. What hard evidence do you have that shows that pushing the age limit that far would be a significant or form a significant barrier against harm?
You know, so one of the reasons why we asked for this is because we've become a nation that is really, drinking is spiraling out of control. Substance abuse is spiraling out of control. And most of our socioeconomic conditions and what has happened in our country, the high gender-based violence, the drunken driving, all of that is a result of drinking. So at least the age, if we increase the age limit to at least over 21 or as much as 23, it will deter, will have some impact or effect on underage drinking as well.
Well, let's talk about the age groups of those involved in both of those that you've cited as really important catalytic factors. So when we think of you know, driving under the influence, I mean, is that typically happening by, with regard to people who are under the age of 23, the same with GBV?
Yes, so driving under the influence, even the initiations, when the young men come out of the initiation, there's alcohol involved. You know, we've become a nation that is the alcohol or the drinking of our population is too high, and it will deter. It will definitely have an impact. It will deter the sale of alcohol, even to those that are under 21, or even under 23 as well. And definitely it will have an impact. I just want to bring us back to, at one time, we banned, or our country banned, the smoking of cigarettes. And it was allocated to certain areas. Restaurants had to implement the, certain legal requirements in public spaces to accommodate for the smokers. Smoking, advertising was banned for smoking, and the drinking has a much more bigger impact than smoking does have on our environment, on our communities, etc. So definitely that is why we are calling for even advertising to be banned of alcohol. If you think about the rage parties, if you think about the pens down parties, and it's become such a concern, even with our law enforcement here. I mean, if you here in East London, we have groups and groups of young people way under the age of 18. I mean, we even need to bring in stricter laws for those liquor outlets who sell to those who are underage. You know, there needs to be stricter laws. But I think that is an area that definitely needs attention when it comes to laws in our country concerning the alcohol consumption.
When you make the analogy to smoking, I mean, there's a lot of statistical evidence. When you think about places like the UK, in Great Britain, for example, in the 70s, about 50% of men and 40% of women over the age of 18 smoked cigarettes, but by 2023 the numbers had dropped to 12% of men and 10% of women. And there was also a concerted campaign to put the warnings and the pictures on smoking packs and to talk about the links between that and serious illness. So we can see the results there. The reason I asked, when you cited the drunken driving and the GBV, and you've now talked about rage parties and so on, I wanted to just hear from you the statistical evidence that underpins even, kind of transcending the age limit of 21 into 23. Talk to me about some of the evidence that you have, Lizelle, that really informs not only your petition to the president, but is your foundational, objective to get it to 23. What have you found statistically, the difference between the ages of 18 and 23 that make it so significant that you're set on having it raised as high as 23? What are the numbers?
Yeah. So our country, South Africa, is one of the highest rates of alcohol fetal syndrome. And young people from as young as 10 years old are debuting sexually. If you look at the statistics, in 2023, for example, when we were looking, and there are there's more recent data of our young people sexually debuting at a very young age. I mean, more than between about 5,000 births, approximately 5,000 childbirths between ages of 10 and 19, and with couple that with alcohol consumption. And we're not saying that all of those young people are drinking, but the high rate of alcohol fetal syndrome in our country is a problem as well, and bears testament to the fact that our young people are drinking excessively. It also opens them up to abuse. Recently, with one of our pens down parties, the young people become drunk. A 16-year-old was sexually assaulted as well. So the sexual assault, sexuality, it exposes them to abuse. I mean, even your story in this morning's headlines, where these young men were assaulting an officer. I mean, that is our security guard. That is our popular Eboshanti spot there. And definitely those men were under the influence of drinking. Statistics also show, statistics also show that a brain of a young person is fully formed at age 25 or 26. So increasing it at least to 23 will already help. And you said it yourself now with the stats of smoking. By age 23, it had significantly reduced. And why? The reason we asked.
Okay, Lizelle, let me step in there, Lizelle, because I want to sharpen our discussion just a little bit.
Okay.
Of course, smoking it's a different territory, and as I say, I use that analogously. But I also just want to say, with regard to that viral video, we're waiting for the court to determine whether, in fact, those men were under the influence or not. But I take the point, as you say, you're highlighting, various issues, social practices in South Africa where drinking is promoted. One of the things you're also calling for is around the management of alcohol advertising, which again is targeted to the younger demographics in our country. So that's on the one side, and we'll circle back to some of the other reasons underpinning your call to raise the legal age limit around drinking. But I want to share with you our poll today. So we'd asked our viewers, and I see you have been watching the program, so you know what our poll is today. And the question to our audience was, do you think that raising the legal drinking age will reduce alcohol abuse? Only 11% agreed that it would. More people, Lizelle, felt that we needed to fix our socioeconomic issues. And 16% said we need to limit the alcohol outlets and the proliferation of establishments that sell alcohol in South African society. Let me bring in some of those comments, though, and I'll just get you to respond to one or two of them. Simpiwe says the problem is not the age, but the behavior of the caregivers. The law should be harsh on such individuals. If your child is underage and caught drinking, don't just arrest the pub or tavern owner. Go and arrest the parents for negligence. I strongly believe that we will be fixing the community step by step. I'm not sure if we have others, Teeb, that we want to project. Mulalo says, what's wrong with 18 years? That's old enough. The problem is that alcohol has become part of society. Any excuse is created to drink. Pooza Thursday, Woza Friday, Woza weekend, before tears, after tears, pens down, and you talked about pens down, Lizelle, as well. Let us deal with the real societal issues that lead people to drink, and one of the biggest is unemployment. I'd love to hear your thoughts around some of the comments shared by our viewers, Lizelle.
So thank you for that. Fixing some of our socioeconomic problems, one of them would definitely be the drinking aspect as well, ensuring that the legal age of drinking is raised. Excessive drinking is extremely harmful, not only to individuals, to their behavior, to how, because it does alter people's behavior. It also detrimental to their health as well. Excessive drinking has been linked to all kinds of health complications. So we really need to buckle down on how do we, if we want to rebuild the nation of South Africa, those are some of the things that we need to bring in, ensuring that our the legal age for drinking is raised, because then people over the age of 21, 22, 23, they're more settled, they drink more responsibly, I would believe. And then, 18 years old is a bit too young for that. So that is our appeal for our president, to raise the legal age of drinking to over 21 at least, because then our young people are more settled. They know where they're going, they know what they want, so to a certain degree, they know what they want. So, and also the advertising, advertising teenagers, for example. We have a problem where there's a lot of alcohol advertising on our billboards. And all of us have been teenagers. Experiment, you want to experiment, what is this new drink? And that is what the advertisers want. We have in East London, we lost 21 young people at Yobeni Tavern. We were put on the map, and those were young people. And some of them were under the age of 18 as well. And I agree, it is a parental problem to a certain extent as well. Definitely a parenting problem. And with our country that has a parental crisis in our country, not knowing how to really facilitate the growth of the Gen Zs, I think that is an issue. And that's a topic for another day. But we really need to, one of the ways to fix some of our problems is to raise that age limit to at least 21 to 23 age years old.
The Liquor Amendment Bill, Lizelle, proposes an age of 21. Now, that's been stuck, as we've seen, for nearly a decade. Politically and I guess practically, what makes you think that making an even tougher call, 23, and an advertising ban has a realistic chance of being adopted now? I think, as you speak, a lot of parents, society, people who have the well-being of young people at heart would agree and probably share and echo some of the sentiments that you're sharing. But there is a process that gets followed, and as I say, it's been stuck it's been stuck at a certain point for a significant amount of time. Are you confident what you're asking for has any realistic prospects of coming into being?
It does. If it came on the radar 10 years ago already, which means we have a crisis. There is, if it was raised 10 years ago, it was brought to the fore, it was never executed. We have a decisive leadership problem in our country, and we need to act on that. And we are appealing to our president. If it's been an issue coming along for the last 10 years, make that decision. We need to stop stalling decisions, and we need to get to decisive action. Implementation is, and there's many other examples and many other issues. When it comes to implementation, we lack as a country. And we want to, as an organization, appeal to our president. We need decisive leadership in our country. Make that decision for the interest of our young people. They are the future leaders of our country. And if we are already having them being addicted to substances from a young age, it is a problem. It is a problem for our country and its leaders. Thank you.
Lizelle, I just want to share one more comment before I say thank you to you. Let's just project that for our viewers. I think that this is from R. Christel. I think that as much as government wants to raise the legal drinking age, kids will still find a way to drink alcohol, even if they're under the legal age. And I guess maybe that will lead me into a very quick closing question for a quick response from you, Lizelle. We've seen the enforcement failures. It's part of what you're talking about as well, and part of what you have an issue with. You know, we could just see this whole problem being driven even further underground by raising it as high as you're proposing. Your thoughts on that?
Definitely, we have an enforcement problem in our country, and we need to fix that. And hopefully, with all this expose of SAPs, etc., we will now get our ducks in a row as a country. We definitely need to ensure that laws are enforced, and it comes to our security issue, our law enforcement issue, enforcing our bylaws, ensuring that there's compliance, and even the liquor department needs to come on board here and have stricter criteria when it comes to the issuing of liquor licenses. Regular inspections need to be done, you know, and all of that comes into play. But definitely, something needs to be done. Our young people cannot no longer be left to continue under the age of 21 at least.
Lizelle Maurice, thanks for talking to us this morning from Gatekeepers South Africa. Calls for the drinking age to be raised. I want to conclude with that comment from Khalihle. You can see me leaning in to squint. Khalihle says, nope, restricting the sale of alcohol and tightening the laws around consumption would. This is what Khalihle is proposing as a response to the gambit that's being put forward by gatekeepers to raise the drinking age to 23. All right, that's where we leave it. Quite robust comments there, Arabile. And this is an important discussion. We'll keep it on the radar. We do have an issue here.